Talktainment Radio Worldwide Sound. Talktainmentradio.com. We give you a reason to come. The world's greatest radio. We give you a reason to stay. Radio, the way it should be heard. You got the power.
The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guest and not necessarily those of TalkTainmentRadio.com, the management, the staff, or K&E World Network, LLC.
Live call-in talk show. Dial 1-877-932-9766 and join the conversation here on TalkTainmentRadio.com.
This is the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller, heard exclusively on TalkTainmentRadio.com, the world's greatest radio. Radio the way it should be heard. And now, Mr. Neely Fuller.
If you do not understand white supremacy, which is racism, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you. Only confuse you. Only confuse you.
All right. Welcome to TalkTainmentRadio.com. We go where you go, the world's greatest radio. You are now in touch with the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. I am your co-host, Mr. Bobby, and this is Wednesday, October the 24th, 2018. And we are happy to have you tune in to today's program. The phone line or number that you can call to get in contact with the show to ask Mr. Fuller questions is 1-877-932-9766. You can also go to the TalkTainmentRadio.com homepage, and at the very top you'll see a sign that says Listen Live, and all you have to do is tap that button and you can listen to the program live if you would like. We would appreciate if you would like and subscribe to that button. You can also do this. If you want to view the program and hear us, you can go to the YouTube channel and type in the word Talktainment, and then hit the space bar and type in the word radio, and then scroll down to Talktainment number 2, and you're right there. Once you do that, you can also hit the like and subscribe button there. Let's see, you can also Gmail me at the numeral number 7, 7 Mr. Bobby, at gmail.com, and I will get that. My own email address. And also the last way, you can go to the Facebook, facebook.com / Wow, I'm so used to that sign. Let me see here. You can go to facebook.com / Talktainment. I believe that. Is that correct? And then you're on here. Once that light gets out of my way, I can read that. But anyway, those are the ways that you can hit the program. You can hear the program in its entirety also by going to, thank you very much. Now, also by going to the Talktainment.com homepage, and this program is 24 hours, or the program will be up 24 hours, and then you can hear the replay of the whole thing. What they have done, and what Talktainment has done, is put a platform together so that you can actually choose which way you choose to listen to the program. Okay, alrighty. Today being the 24th of October, very interesting topic has come up via the Gmails, and what we wanted to get into today with Mr. Fuller is the black woman's vagina in the system of white supremacy racism. Bring that up because there have been a few Gmails that wanted Mr. Fuller to address that. Mr. Fuller has said that on at least 2 occasions that I can recall, and there was quite a bit of talk about that, so they wanted to be clear, along with your other questions that you may have or that you may want to ask Mr. Fuller. You can do that also. So, without further ado, Mr. Fuller, we want to say good morning to you, and how are you this morning, Mr. Fuller?
Good morning. I'm still learning.
You are still learning. Good. let's get into the actual Gmail that I got. And Gigi wanted you to respond to this, and I'll just read the email. It says, in Mr. Fuller, one of his previous programs, he said that white supremacists are after white supremacy, and he gave this basis to believe that their end game is perhaps not to kill us all, but because of that, that their aim was, and then they would have already done so if that was their aim a long time ago. In another program, Mr. Fuller concludes that the black woman's womb and vagina will soon be obsolete, to be replaced by the white man's anus. Now, is it not the case that if the black woman's vagina and womb become obsolete, that we all as black people are wiped out also, Mr. Fuller? Is that not also a form of population tailoring that spells out genocide?
Yes, it's population tailoring. They don't intend, and they, logically speaking, the white supremacists, just thinking logically, they don't intend for black people to disappear, but they intend to tailor the numbers like they have always done. They tailor the numbers through diseases, through poverty, dislocation, all types of things. Dropping bombs, poisoning water. They do this on a continuous basis. They tailor the populations of non-white peoples all over the world. That's a part of their regular program. And so they're just kind of amping it up a little bit by saying, well, black females seem to have a lot of babies and whatnot, so if you devalue the black female as a sexual object, as someone that you have sex with, someone that is desirable to have sex with, and redirect that attention to some artificial source or something, or object, then all the better. I mean, then they can control that even better. That's just another method of control. But as far as making all non-white people extinct, or black people, or any variety of the non-white people, any of the classifications, black, brown, red, yellow, no, they just intend to continue to tailor the populations. They'll look at the map of the world and they'll say, well, it seems to be a big buildup along about here. And this will interfere with our future plans, say 20 or 30 years down the road. So it's about time to start something. We'll send a few paid killers in there, and start some mess and get them to slaughter each other and have that go on off and on for the next 10 years and get that population down to where our projection for the next 50 years, there will only be so many people in this particular area, because we got some mining we want to do there. We're going in to get some gold or some tin or some oil, and we only want the population in that particular area to be a certain level when we move in at that particular time, which is probably about 30, 40 years down the road. We'll probably be doing some exploration. We know that there's oil there, but we don't want to dig it up right now, because it would interfere with the market. See, they are business people. The white supremacists are business people. So they'll look and they'll see, well, the population will be such that by then, that those people would, by then they'll be halfway educated and whatnot, and there'll be more of them there to oppose what we're doing when we get ready to mine there. We'll be mining there in about 30 years. And so then we'll have to deal with all these indigenous people. And so if we can cut down the population, but now start tailoring it, and seeing to it that the population is kept to a certain level, then we can just move in and pay off a few of their monarchs or tribal chiefs and whatnot, and they'll keep everybody under control while we take what we want out of there. That's the plan. That's how they think. They make long-range plans. And this is why they're successful at what they do in the greatest enterprise ever thought up, as far as controlling people and materials and whatnot, and that's the system of white supremacy.
Okay. Now, you have said on previous programs about the white male anus being the object, and that the black female's vagina being obsolete. Gigi wanted to know what does that mean?
Oh, they'll do this in certain places. They'll just say that, they can redirect people's sexual, just like they're doing now. All type of sexual scrambling. Because if you can confuse people sexually, you can confuse them very easily in everything else. And the white supremacists understand that kind of psychology. I mean, the sexual drive is a very, very strong drive among all organisms. So if you get control of that, and you direct, it has a lot to do with how the mind works, has been proven through this transgender experimentation on a huge scale, and they can expand that or contract it any which way they want to, because among non-white people, because we're very gullible, and we'll just go for anything that looks like it's something different. They know that, so they'll just convince non-white males that the black vagina is, hey, you don't want to fool with that. That's not worth anything. And anything can be a vagina. We can manufacture vaginas in a factory. I mean, we can just do that. I mean, this is the modern day. And so you don't need, something as primitive as the black female's vagina. I mean, we can manufacture vaginas in a factory, and it'll be upgraded and put them on Barbie dolls and whatnot, and hey, that'll be the thing. If they want to do that, they'll do it, and we'll go for it. We'll go for it. You can be convinced of that, because they can convince us of anything, because whom else teaches us, that a gun is important to have, that shooting up the neighborhood is a big thing to do. That makes you a man. They do that. They teach us that. We don't know that until they teach us that. And so we act accordingly. We are their prisoners of war. We've always been, ever since the system of white supremacy was complete. And so they can do the same thing with the sexual things. It's easy to do.
Yes.
In all of the areas of activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, and sex, and war.
Or counter-war.
Or counter-war, right.
Okay. All righty. Let's do this at this juncture here. TalkTainmentRadio.com is a 24/7, no-charge worldwide broadcasting facility with hosts delivering on various topics such as news, lifestyle, sports, law, health, wellness, religion, and politics. Now, here's one that I'm going to share with you, and it's called New Money. It's a very good program, as Drew and Janae explain to you the new situations concerning what money is and how money works. What is money? They answer all of your questions, and they call it New Money, maybe investments or whatever. Any question that you would have about money, they will be able to answer that. Now, this program is exclusive to TalkTainmentRadio.com, and all you have to do is to go to the TalkTainmentRadio.com homepage, and there's a list where you hit programs, and all the programs that we have on TalkTainmentRadio.com are listed there, and you can view them. All that coming from TalkTainmentRadio.com, radio the way it should be heard. My name is Mr. Bobby. I am the co-host of the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller, and today's topic is the female, or the female vagina in the system of white supremacy, racism. Is it obsolete? And the object of the affection is turned to the white male's anus. And this is what we are discussing, but we will also discuss any other topic that you would want to discuss with Mr. Fuller. Okay, Mr. Fuller, this is, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce his name, but I'm going to read his Gmail. He said, Mr. Fuller, I need to know exactly what you mean when you urge black people to become universal man and universal woman. Does it mean moving from the hood, as you referred to it, as to a predominantly white suburb, learning a European language, studying nature, dating interracially, traveling to Europe, trying exotic foods, listening to classical music, or all of the above? I asked Mr. Fuller because I don't think you've been very clear on this concept, and I couldn't find it in my code book. So again, what exactly does a black man or black woman look like when he or she becomes universal? And thank you for taking the time to answer my question.
Some examples, and it's not complete, because that would be an evolving thing. That's a concept of where everybody, all people on the planet, should be universal man and universal woman, perfectly matched and in total harmony. That's the description. And doing always constructive things, never anything non-constructive. No conflicts of any kind. I mean, everything being reasonable. I mean, it's an ideal, but it's an idea that people should strive for, the pursuit of happiness. And so I just give it a label, universal man, universal woman, because we're in a universe, and that we should be comfortable in any part of the universe and in perfect harmony, one to another, one person to another. Universal man in complete rhythm, you might say, with other men who will have the label, same label, universal men, and also with universal woman, interacting with her in the best possible circumstances, which we don't have anything close to that now, nowhere on the planet. I mean, male-female relations are just a complete mess compared to what? Compared to what they should be. And I'm talking about even the best of them. I mean, the people that they set up as examples, let's say now, this is what a perfect family should be like. This is what a perfect relationship between a male and a female should be like. You have all kind of TV programs about, relationships. People go into the psychiatric business to talk about it, and sit down and talk about people trying to have a harmonious relationship, saving their marriages and all like that. Well, under universal man and universal woman, if we get the description down, you won't need any of that. It would just be natural, just a natural flow of things. Get rid of all this stuff that the white supremacists have come up with that engenders conflict, that is even deliberately made to have conflict, one person with another. They believe in conflict. They brag about conflict. This is why they glorify guns. So it's the same thing. So universal man and universal woman in the textbook, the Revised Expanded Edition, go from page 169 to 170. There are some descriptions of what that would, as a start, would be. I have that on page 169.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me get
and 170.
169, 170.
Of the Revised Expanded Edition of the textbook for victims of white supremacy.
Starting where?
That's right there near the top.
Okay, I'm on
Some compensatory suggested basic characteristics of universal man and with for universal woman could be as follows. Now, this is where all black people should be aiming for. To be, somebody say, what would we look like? Well, we would just look like people who are black. I mean, if you're a black person who is aiming to be a universal man and a universal woman, it's not just a physical characteristic, it's a characteristic of behavior in all 9 areas of activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. A universal man paired off with a universal woman, that's the ideal, that would be the standard. That would be the standard, and the only standard, all right? You know, other people might take off in different derivatives, but that would be something away from the standard in order to be a universal man and a universal woman. But starting off, some of the characteristics it says here, 169, does not knowingly say anything that is not true. That would be a characteristic of a universal man. Mm-hmm. You never say nothing that's not true. Or universal woman. Whatever you say, it will be the truth. You make sure that it's the truth. You don't convey any type of false information. Now look at what's going on now. Do we have a universal man, universal woman?
That's wow.
Among the people who are leading the world now? I dare say they come anywhere close. I mean, all kinds of hocus pocus. All kinds of things that are not true. Okay? Now, what else does it say? It does not knowingly withhold any information from anyone who needs it for constructive purposes. In other words, if you know anything of constructive value, you pass it on to everyone and hope that they have constructive intent. That would be the characteristic of a universal man and a universal woman. On a job, I mean, you don't hold back information. You go to the person. The person doesn't even have to seek you out and say, I think I have some constructive information for you, something you can use, something that will help you at all times. And I kind of thought of it, and I came across it, or it was passed on to me, so I'm going to pass it on to you freely. Constructive information, free to everybody, all right, to use in a constructive manner. Universal man, universal woman. That's one of their characteristics. They do that. They just automatically do that.
What about the bottom of...
Hello?
Yeah, I was going to say, what about the bottom of page 169?
The bottom of page 169 engages in sexual intercourse no more than 2 times every 7 days. These are just suggestions now for a universal man and universal woman. And use a minimum of time and materials in regard to such engagement. Now, why twice every 7 days sexual intercourse? Because if you're a universal man and universal woman, you're supposed to be busy doing a lot of constructive things. So this sort of just puts in sort of a time capsule, you might say. It can be any time, and you do as much of it as you please. I mean, to satisfy yourself. It's not curtailing anything, but you kind of orchestrate it in such a manner that you have other things to do. That's the main thing. You don't spend all your time in bed having sexual intercourse or looking forward to just having sexual intercourse and never doing anything else of constructive value. You're supposed to have 9 areas of activity that's got to be covered. Economics, education. You're supposed to be learning something, studying something. But if you're spending all your time having sexual intercourse, all you're learning is more different ways of having sexual intercourse. And so this is just a guideline.
Okay.
For the, you know.
Now on page...
So you have quite a few there.
Right.
And like I said, all of the characteristics of a universal man and a universal woman are yet to evolve.
Yes.
I mean, you know, but everything will be of constructive value. That will be the characteristic. So, you know, I would like to see it now, and I think everybody should like to see it, everybody of correct mind. I mean, when you say, I can tell by the way this person is talking. I can see by all the things this person does. This is a universal man. This is a universal woman. Nobody even had to tell me. they have all of the characteristics of universal man and universal woman.
Mm-hmm.
And people who are not universal man and universal woman, they should aspire to be that. It'll be a criteria that will fit anybody who goes down that road and say, hey, I'm going to be a universal man and universal woman. That's my goal.
Yes, sir. On page 170, almost in the middle of the page, I thought that this one was very good and very clear. It says, listens to and gives maximum constructive consideration to all criticisms and does so without resentment, rancor, or contempt. That seems to be a real hard one, Mr. Fuller.
Yes. Well, there would be quite a few difficult ones, which is all the more reason why everybody subscribed to be universal man and universal woman. And this is just a short list. We want a complete list before you actually arrive and say, hey, I am officially a universal man. Or if it's a female, I am officially a universal woman. I meet all of the requirements of that. And you do it on your own. Nobody dictates to you.
Okay.
You head toward that goal. Meaning what? The most constructive organism in the universe. I mean, that's what that universal man, universal woman concept is all about.
Okay.
I mean, you function in a constructive manner in every move that you make, not just in some.
Okay. We're going to take this phone call now. I have to admit now, we're going to take it. We're almost near a break, and I'm probably going to have to cut you off. And the reason why I say that is because I will get criticized when I do that. Anyway, let's go, caller. You're on with Mr. Fuller. What is your question?
Hi, yes. My question is, I've noticed when I'm a black woman, and when I go to the gym, I've noticed that the white women who have black counterparts, they're very possessive over their black men. It just seems that they're very hostile towards, other African women that work out. And I just, people might not know, but just his perspective of why he may feel that white women are very possessive of their black men when it comes to other black women being around them.
And the question is why? What now?
Yes. Why do you feel that white women are very possessive of their black men that they may date, especially when they're around other black women? When their black men and them are around black women, they seem to be very aggressive in terms of being on their black man and having to make it known that they're together. Is there a reason for that?
Well, for what you're describing, if there's all kinds of reasons to believe that the white woman may be a racist, so what is the characteristic of a racist? And that is, the characteristic of a racist is domination and mistreatment. That's their characteristic. Those are the characteristics. You have to have those qualifications to be a racist. I mean, that's it. Domination and mistreatment. So therefore, any situation in any of the 9 areas of activity that a racist has anything to do with, a white supremacist, which is a racist, anything that they have anything to do with is all about those two elements. Domination and mistreatment of people who have color in their skin. That's it. People who are classified as non-white dominate and mistreat in all areas of activity.
And Mr. Phil, last question is, why do they need to feel to kind of throw their relationship in black women's faces? Like, they kind of have to gush over them or just kind of make it known, like, this black man is mine. Why do they have to, kind of throw it in specifically a black woman's face?
Oh, domination and mistreatment. That's a form of mistreatment. They're trying to make you, that's not a constructive situation. If they're trying to, it's a put down of any kind and all like that, that might be an elementary form of mistreatment, but it's a form of mistreatment. It's ill intent. racism is about ill intent. I mean, hey, upset the apple cart. Don't let things run smooth. I mean, everybody's not supposed to be pleasant around here. I mean, everything is supposed to be unpleasant. I'm sorry. For the white supremacy.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Fuller. I have to cut that right there because of commercial. TalkTainMenRadio.com. We go where you go. Check us out on 94.1 WGRN. Podcasts are available. Download the TalkTainMenRadio.com app to your cell or to your tablet. That's radio the way it should be heard. Stay right there. We'll have more of your questions and more Gmails coming up next here on TalkTainMenRadio.com.
For the best home fragrance and beauty products, shop Ash Cooking online.
That's ASHKICKIN.
Made with 100% natural quality ingredients and handcrafted with your family in mind, Ash Cooking products are better than those other guys. Ash Cooking candles, incense, body butter, face moisturizer, and hair moisturizer are priced just right, and you can get yours at 10% off with coupon code TALK17. Support this 100% black-owned business and get your home and body smelling and feeling all right.
That's ASHKICKIN.
Shop Ash Kickin' online at www.ashkickin.com.
You trusted Judge Terry Jamison when you elected her in 2012. She came to the domestic and juvenile court with experience as a trial lawyer in criminal, domestic, and juvenile law, serving Columbus and Franklin County residents. Re-elect Judge Terry Jamison to the Court of Common Pleas, Domestic Relations and Juvenile Branch. Judge Terry Jamison, justice tempered with mercy, because your family matters.
I'm Judge Terry Jamison. I'm asking for your vote on November the 6th, 2018. I was voted in by the community because your family matters. Thank you.
If you or someone you know is abusing drugs and or alcohol and want to stop the abuse, contact APDS at 1409 East Livingston Avenue. Office hours are 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily and 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday. APDS is certified by the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services and primarily funded through the Adam H. Board. Fees are based on your income and Medicaid is always accepted. For more information, call 614-253-4448.
Sex Code War by Kahari Inaharo, the author of the Essence Magazine bestseller Race Code War, is releasing his second book, Sex Code War. Be on the lookout for Sex Code War.
This is Al Edmondson, owner of the Cutter Brother West Barbershop. I'm calling on all barbers and beauticians. It's time for us to unite as one. We can serve our communities better together. Join the Ohio Black Barber Beauty Network. For more information, visit www.obbn.org or call 614-427-3226 to get more information. Be the change that you want to see in your community. Join our network.
Live call-in talk show. Dial 1-877-932-9766 and join the conversation here on TalkTainMenRadio.com.
I think I'm entitled. You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Go ahead. Make my day.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
You got the power.
TalkTainmentRadio.com. You go where you go. Download the TalkTainmentRadio.com app to your cell or to your tablet. That is radio the way it should be heard. My name is Mr. Bobby, and I am the co-host of the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller. This is Wednesday, the 24th of October, 2018, and our topic today is the black woman's vagina in the system of white supremacy racism. And we've had Mr. Fuller addressing that. That is the on topic for the day, but of course you can ask any question of Mr. Fuller and he will address that. Mr. Fuller, before we move on in that particular area, in the code book, the revised edition of it, the revised expanded edition of it, you have said on the bottom of page 171, now you've repeated this many times, but I think it stands that to reason that we would mention it again. You said all day, every day, all day, wherever you are, you said to ask yourself these four, and I want to highlight basic questions. Meaning there could be more, but You said, are you there yet on that page, Mr. Fuller?
I'm here. Right.
Okay. Go through that 1 through 4 so we can get a basis and a foundation of what we're going to discuss.
You mean?
Oh yeah, number 1. Yeah, 1 through 4. Page
the 4 wants.
Yes.
WANTS.
Yes.
Yes. All day long, every day, wherever you are, ask yourself these 4 basic questions. What do I want to do? Ask yourself this. Why do I want to do what I want to do? That's the second question.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3. How do I plan to do what I want to do? If you want to do something, you want to do something. Everybody wants to do something every day, all day, even if it's no more than just get from one chair to another in a room. You want to get up out of that chair and walk across the room and sit in another chair. Why do you want to do it? Because the other chair is more comfortable. That might be the answer. Number 3, how do you plan to do it? You plan to walk from one chair to the other. That's your plan. That's just a simple thing like that. You want to do something every minute of the day. Every organism, every bird, every ant, every bee, every alligator wants to do something.
Yes, sir.
Every minute of this is waking moments now, when you're not asleep. You want to do something. And then number 4, that's the clincher. What do I expect the constructive result to be? And that's anything, somewhere right now. I mean, some young black male has a 9mm in his waistband, 9mm gun, pistol, automatic pistol. Now, he just put it in his waistband and he's fixing to hit the streets. Now, what does he want to do? Well, in the back of his mind, he intends to shoot somebody. Otherwise, he's not carrying this gun at all. That's an intention. Why does he want to do it? Well, he can ask himself that. Why do I want to shoot somebody? Well, I got to shoot somebody if I'm going to take their money, and get away with it. I ain't going to leave no witness. So if I'm going to rob somebody, I'm going to probably have to kill them and take what little money they got, credit cards or whatever, and use them as fast as I can, and try to make that my day. How do you plan to do what you got to do? Well, I plan to have the gun. And I plan to go in a certain area where I think that people might have some credit cards, bicyclists or somebody, and jump out from behind the bushes and take their money and shoot them in the head and take the bicycle and try to get off fast away from the scene as I can. And that's my plan. And what do I expect the constructive result to be? Well, the constructive will be is how, if they got some credit cards that I can use, and I can use them before, they cut me off, and hope that I can get away with it.
Okay.
And that's what I expect the constructive result to be.
Okay.
Now, someone else is starting engineering school at the same moment. And they can ask themselves that question. How do you plan to do what you want to do? Well, I plan to go to school to be an engineer. That's why I'm applying today to this school. That's my plan. I go to school to be an engineer. A technical school that they just opened down the street. I'm going to that school because I want to be an electrical engineer. And what do you expect the constructive result to be? Well, I expect to, even open my own business or get a good job as an apprentice and whatnot, and be a successful electrical engineer, and then be able to, marry and have a family and buy a house, and that would be the constructive result.
Okay.
See, everybody, those 4 questions, but everybody should ask themselves those 4 questions every minute of the day,
yes, sir.
and overall thinking about your entire existence.
Okay.
What do I want to do with my entire existence on this planet? Now, that guy who's thinking about robbing people, well, good luck with that plan over a long period of time. Because what the constructive result's going to be is no constructive result for that.
Okay. let me pause right there. I'm going to come back to that, but let me take this caller. Go ahead, caller. You are on with Mr. Neely Fuller.
Good morning, Mr. Bobby, Mr. Fuller. This is Joe from Harlem. My question is, really, I would like you to, if you can, expound a little more on racial shadow boxing, if you will.
Shadow boxing. Hello?
Yes. Yes, racial shadow boxing.
Shadow boxing.
Yes, sir.
That's just a slang term that I use in the original textbook. And what it is, it's the habit that black people have of, even at a subliminal level, not directly intention to do it, but we're kind of trained to, you ain't the one supposed to say quitting time, I'm the one supposed to say quitting time. That's something I got out of Gone with the Wind. One black person is saying to another, you know, I know more than you. You shouldn't be doing what you're doing. Let me tell you what to do. And you do it. I want to be your boss because I can't boss over the white supremacists. So I'm going to find some weak black person that I can both criticize or be a boss over or tell what to do, like many black males throughout the entire planet do with black females. They beat them up, curse them out, call them names, write songs about them, that are derogatory, and that makes us feel like we are men. Truth be told. So that's a form of shadow boxing, but the essence of shadow boxing, according to the code, is when we criticize other black people for the way they're going about fighting racism. Oh, you don't know what you're doing. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. I mean, you know, and that's what we do. We sit around and wait for some other black person to make a move because we're not making any moves ourselves. Okay?
But criticizing, let's say, Kanye West and calling him a coon, would that be a form of black people?
That's shadow boxing. That's shadow boxing. See, the reason I call it shadow boxing is because the white supremacists make shadows of themselves. All right? They'll appoint a black person to a position, give them the so-called president of a country. But they're really not a president. They just have a title. But under white supremacists, the white supremacists will say, well, this black person is now president of this African nation. Why? Because I said so. I recognize him or her as being a fit president to carry out my needs in this particular place. So that becomes what you might call the white supremacist shadow. All right? So then, other black people who have any kind of argument with the system of white supremacy, the white supremacists will direct you to their shadow. In the Corleone family, they call it buffers. If you use the Godfather format. Like Willie Cece at that trial, he said, oh yeah, the Corleones had lots of buffers, meaning you never get to the real person that's running things. You spend all your time swinging at a shadow. You're punching that shadow, that's punching that shadow, and like any shadow boxer, no. When you punching your shadow, somebody that looks like you, you're not doing anything at all.
Right.
You know, you're not hitting the real opponent. And particularly when somebody is making the shadow. Somebody else is standing over to the side, making the shadow on the wall, and you're hitting this shadow. Bang, bang, bang. Just pushing it out until you finally fall down exhausted. Now, what have you actually accomplished? Nothing.
Nothing.
All right? Because the person who made the shadow, they haven't been hit at all. The white supremacists are shadow makers. See, they make lots of shadows for other black people to throw rocks at or to take punches at until we fall down exhausted and thinking that we have accomplished something. They can make these shadows faster and you can knock them out because you're not really hitting nothing, no way. You're not hitting the source of the shadow.
Right.
Yes, the white supremacists, they enjoy doing this, and we enjoy going along with it because it gives us the feeling of power. I got got rid of that handkerchief head Uncle Tom Negro. See, a lot of us strut around bragging about that. Yeah, we finally got them Uncle Toms off the committee. Now we can really roll up our sleeves and get something done. All right, all the white supremacists do is just come up with another batch of shadows for you to throw rocks at. Because ultimately, you got to do what? You got to face them.
Yes.
And that's what we're afraid of.
Okay.
So we cop out by throwing rocks at the next, what we call Uncle Tom, that they're going to appoint to a committee. That's a sport enjoyed by most of us.
All righty. TalkTameAtRadio.com. We go where you go. Just download the TalkTameAtRadio.com app to your cell or to your tablet. That is radio, the way it should be heard. My name is Mr. Bobby. I am the co-host of the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. And today's on-screen topic is the black woman's vagina in the system of white supremacy, racism. But at this particular time, the 45-minute mark of the hour, we have Mr. Fuller address this book, his book, that we have been referencing throughout the whole show. So, Mr. Fuller, take it away.
You can get the book by going to producejustice.com. Producejustice.com. And what will come up on the screen now is the 2016 revised expanded edition of the 1984 edition. You'll see both books on different page numbers at that website. But you don't confuse the 1984 edition with the revised expanded edition of the 1984 edition. Because that's a 2016. It says on the cover, 2016.
Yes, it does.
The revised expanded edition is the 2016 edition. That's the updated edition. It covers just about everything that's in the original. It was 1984. And it has a lot more material in it. A lot more details and whatnot. But some people, they like the 1984 edition for some reason. So you'll see them both there. But go to producejustice.com. You'll also see a compensatory counter-racist codified word guide. That's an addition to the 2016 updated version of the 1984 edition. It's called a compensatory counter-racist codified word guide. It's similar to a dictionary, but it's not a dictionary. But it shows you how to use words, how not to use words, and more importantly, what questions to ask when other people use words. You have all kinds of words that are being thrown around. Words like conservative, liberal, crime, American. What is an American? All right? Democrats, Republicans, flags. What is a flag? What's the importance of a flag? What's the best way to address the flag issue when there are flag issues? When people are arguing about whether to fly this flag or that flag. Well, the word guide has some information or suggestions. They're all suggestions selected that you can make on your own about whether to use these words in a certain way. You can make words. Words are nothing but tools. And you use the tools in a way that do what? That have a constructive result for you when you use them. That's the criteria. They produce a constructive result, and you select them on your own, like everything in all of the code book. The addition, the word guide, and the basic code book that you can get, both of them, by going to producejustice.com. But for the individual person, all of the volumes are addressed to the individual victim of white supremacy. If you don't perceive yourself as being a victim of racism, then the books do not apply to you as an individual person. Okay. Organizations can use the book, but it's not designed for organizations. It's designed to make the individual person a walking organization wherever he or she may be. the individual person of color.
Okay.
That's who it's addressed.
All righty. All right.
ProduceJustice.com.
Okay. Several things we're backing up here, but I'll tell you what. Let's take this phone call. Caller, you are now on with Mr. Fuller. Go ahead with your question.
Top of the AM to Mr. Fuller and Mr. Bobby. This is Brother Muko.
Hey, Brother Muko. Yes, sir.
Where we hold the compensatory constructive action discussions here. We will be doing it Sunday this week at Lake Clifton, right on St. Louis Drive. Mr. Fuller, this past week I've attended a documentary showing of that was held by Jason Black. It was called Race War. And I had the opportunity to actually meet and see white supremacists. That is a white person claiming to be a white supremacist. And one thing that I'm seeing a lot of is what is not stated in your book, but I hear you say it all the time, is a lot of white supremacists playing both sides of every argument. Now, my question to you is, we're talking about the black vagina being extinct today. It was a situation in New York, Brooklyn, if I'm not mistaken, where a young child was accused by a white woman for touching her backside. Are you familiar? Did you hear about that story?
Yes, I saw that on television.
Okay. Now, the actions taken by the mother versus the son, would you say that that is contributing to making the black vagina extinct?
You mean the white lady? Whom are you talking about now? The mother?
I'm talking about the mother of the black mother of the son. The way that she, the son said that he didn't forgive the white lady for her actions, and the mother was, took an opposite stance, basically. And I was asking her actions from the mother, do you think that is a contribution to making the black vagina extinct?
Oh, I don't know. I don't see where there's a connection there directly. But actually, the white female vagina is considered the holy grail of all vaginas. There's no vagina superior to the white female vagina, and that will hold true in the future. I mean, even for lesbians and whatnot, the white female vagina will be the holy grail of all vaginas, and the black vagina will be devalued completely, according to the white supremacist schedule, according to their plans, according to counter-racist logic. That's the way that they're going. I mean, it seems like that's what they're doing overall. They take a roundabout way of doing it because that's devious. They're most deceptive people that have ever appeared among the people of the planet. And they plan on being deceptive. I mean, that's, deception is their thing. But that's it, according to what? Counter-racist logic. I mean, devalue the black vagina, elevate the white male anus as a substitute for the black vagina, and say that the Holy Grail, the greatest vagina of all, as it always has been in white supremacist folklore, is the white female vagina. The greatest vagina of all. Why? Because it produces what? White babies with reliability. So naturally that would be. So anything that devalues black sexuality and scrambles it or makes it into nothing, just take it and make a big mess of it, all types, doesn't make any difference what kind of mess you make. Just make a complete mess of every black person's sexuality and then elevate the white vagina as being really the total description of sexuality, the total description of gender, because now they're having controversies about what is gender. We might have to abolish this whole thing called gender, but they'll wind up, according to white supremacists' intentions, with vagina is it. Everything else dealing with sexuality is just a bunch of mess.
But why the white male anus? I don't get.
The white male anus is just a stepping stone to glorifying the white female vagina. All right, and to have the black male chasing after the white male anus as a substitute for the black female vagina, because the black female vagina will be a non-entity. Will be something that's strange to the black male in another 20 or 30 years. I mean, what is that? I mean, I don't have nothing to do with that. The black female vagina? Me? No. Oh, no. No. Now, white male anus? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's where I'm going. All right? And then, ultimately, the white female vagina. Now we're talking. Now we're talking about real sexuality. Everything else is just something to do. It don't even have nothing to do with sex. I mean, but that white female vagina, that's the Holy Grail. That's Jesus. That's Buddha. That's everything.
Okay. Brother Muko, thank you so much, man, for your call and your carrying and what you're doing down in Baltimore. Appreciate it, man.
Absolutely.
All righty.
Thank you.
All righty. Mr. Fuller, before we knock off this first hour, I want to go back to the bottom of page 171, the wants. And as you were describing all those, what do I want to do? Why do I want to do what I want to do? How do I plan to do what I want to do? And what do I expect the constructive result to be? As I was listening to that and your explanation of that, that seems to me, and I could be wrong, so help me, because I'm listening as I am hosting the show also. That seems to me like a code.
Sure. Everything in the code book is a code concept.
Okay.
All right. Code just means a way to get things done.
Yes, sir.
That's all the code is. A fire code, an electrical code, a plumbing code, but not just to get things done any kind of old way. That's why it's called a code. A code is something that once you try it and you keep doing the same thing the same way, you get a constructive result. That's when something becomes a code. That's why a plumbing inspector will come up and say, this building is not up to code as far as the plumbing is concerned. You're going to have some leaks in pipes in about 5 years. Why? Because the way you have these pipes arranged, and this is a new building, and when the building starts, the foundation starts settling in, some of these pipes, the way that you have them arranged, are not going to compensate for the building being a little bit off base. So you're going to have a lot of loose pipes in this building. All right? That's what an engineer will, he or she will make these calculations ahead of time and bring the building up and the pipes in line so that they will take into consideration that the building is going to settle a couple of feet. And so these pipes in this building are going to have to compensate. So the pipes will be arranged in such a way that they will compensate for the building sinking 2 feet. That's a lot of feet for an entire building. When you start talking about plumbing and wiring and a lot of other things. But if you have a way of figuring that out in advance, then it won't happen.
Okay.
Then they'll say your plumbing specifications are up to code.
So you have taken that illustration, and probably many others, to what it's going to take to produce justice, which we have never had.
Right, we've never had a code. Black people have never had a counter-racist code. We're supposed to be, and I'm trying to do what I can, we're supposed to be in the process of building one.
Yeah.
We've never had one. We've never even thought that we needed one.
Yeah.
We just say that we got black culture, and we don't even have a definition for that. All right, not a real clear definition.
Yeah.
What is black culture?
Yes.
All right, and usually we talk about the pyramids or some
Gotta leave it there. Don't want to, but gotta leave it there. TalkTimeRadio.com, the world's greatest radio the way it should be heard. Stay tuned for the second hour.
Thanks for listening to The Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller, heard exclusively on TalkTainmentRadio.com.
Talktainment Radio worldwide. Talktainmentradio.com will give you a reason to come. The world's greatest radio. We give you a reason to stay. Radio, the way it should be heard. You got the power.
The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guest and not necessarily those of TalkTainmentRadio.com, the management, the staff, or K&E World Network, LLC.
Live call-in talk show. Dial 1-877-932-9766 and join the conversation here on TalkTainmentRadio.com.
This is The Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller, heard exclusively on TalkTainmentRadio.com, the world's greatest radio the way it should be heard. And now, Mr. Neely Fuller.
If you do not understand white supremacy, which is racism, what it is, and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you. Only confuse you. Only confuse you.
TalkTainmentRadio.com, we go where you go. On the world's greatest radio, you're in touch with the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. I am your co-host, Mr. Bobby, and this is radio the way it should be heard via TalkTainmentRadio.com. Today's subject is the black woman's vagina in the system of white supremacy, racism. If you missed the first hour, make sure that you get the chance to get the first hour, being today, Wednesday, October the 24th, 2018. Very good questions so far, and which we really appreciate. Mr. Fuller was discussing a code, and that was taken from page 161 of the revised 171 of the revised expanded edition, and he was explaining the importance of having a code. And my brother, he doesn't mind me using his first and last name. Victor Palmer wrote this, and I'm going to sum it up. He said, my problem is the global system of racism, white supremacy. That is my only problem. I am being mistreated and subjugated 24/7. It affects me in all areas of my life. For example, law, labor, education, entertainment, economics, politics, religion, sex, war, and counter-war. Then, what is the solution? Replace racism with justice? Black people need to meditate, not celebrate. We need to stop pretending and denying reality. We need to see our lives for what it is and not for what we wish it to be. We need a code that we can practice individually and religiously as if our very existence and breath depended on it. As a result, we will learn to become our own individual leaders as we study, learn, and read about our opponent, the racist. No, that's VGQ, but Mr. Fuller, in your opinion, did he hit on some things that needed to be said?
Yes, he was reciting right out of the code book.
Okay.
That's all. I mean, he really didn't have a question. He's reciting what he has read in the code book and what he's heard on these programs. That's why I said we do, I guess he's agreeing that we need a code. The white supremacists are successful. They have a racist code. Racist man and racist woman have a code that keeps the system of racism in place.
Yes, sir.
You can't have a system that lasts any length of time, and is very efficient, unless you have a code for that system. Like I said earlier, plumbing code, electrical code. You have to have what is a code? It's not a secret code. It's just a way of getting things done.
Yes,
and every time you do these things that you do, things that you don't do, things that you say, things that you don't say.
Yes, sir.
And every time you do these things or say these things, they always work. That's when you know it's a code.
Okay.
They never fail you. They always work. The white supremacists have come up with a code for dominating and mistreating people of color all over the planet we call Earth.
Okay.
And that is the most successful political and religious code system ever thought up in the minds of people. And it is the most powerful.
All right.
All right.
1-877-932-9766 is one of the ways that you can get in contact with the show. I'm going to not repeat them all together, but call that number. And somebody has. Caller, go ahead. You're on with Mr. Fuller. What is your question?
Yes, good morning to the both of you. My question is, well, let me start off by saying this. I am a melanin-rich, non-white female. And as I walk in the world, I can't tell you the extension of, maybe you could say help or something, generally from white men. Usually if, it's not usually out in, like if, say for example, if I'm going through a door, 9 times out of 10, it's almost like they're breaking their neck to open the door. Or, they're always smiling. And the last thing that happened, I got out of my car, I started walking, and I was looking at my car reflection in a window, and this white man is, so busy looking at me that he backed into my car, and then he was very gracious. He took care of, all of that. Here's my insurance, here's the everything. And there was a black man with him. But it was as if, they're making the black man want this white female vagina. But what I am experiencing is, winks and, all of these things, and it makes me uncomfortable because I'm like, well, I'm not up for grabs. Maybe it would work on some other low-level thinker, but, that's not working for me. But it's more than you could imagine. It's not something you even see on the television or what have you. So there's something going on where we black women need we do need the code. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Fuller, VGQ or what?
Well, I guess that's VGQ. She didn't ask a question specifically. I didn't get the gist mostly of what she was saying, except it appears what she's saying that there's always a lot of conflict between black males and black females. That will continue as long as you have the system of white supremacy. Hello?
Hello? Is there any way that I can extend to the question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I guess the question is it true that the white vagina is the holy grail? Is that true? Because it seems to me that as a non-white woman to this white man, he's trying to get into the black vagina. And I'm not the only black female who's talking about this among ourselves, about these men, they're winking, they're extending themselves. So I'm trying to figure out, is the black man the one being duped in this? That's the question.
Okay. Mr. Fuller?
Yes, the black male has been duped into looking at the white female as the supreme female. Not equal, supreme. Black females have been taught the same thing that black males have been taught. That the white woman is the prime example for everybody to follow. I mean, for the most part, you'll find a few of them. You'll find that there are a few white women who go around and try to make their hair look like black people's hair. But for the most part, it's black females sitting in the beauty salon trying to get their hair to look like the white female hair. They go on television and whatnot, hey, they're going to have that wig on and whatnot if they can't get their natural hair to look like the white female hair. And this is normal. This is normal. All people look up to the people who conquer them. That's just a natural thing. That's natural, really.
Is this
Once you have all people imitate their masters and want to be like their masters and copy everything their masters do.
Mm-hmm.
They do. I mean, young black males do what? They look at television, they play video games. I mean, being gangsters. So since they can't be gangsters against white people, because good luck with that. So they just tear up the black neighborhoods, being gangsters. If I can't be nothing else, I'm going to be a thug.
Thug, yeah.
And I'm going to terrorize all my neighbors, all my schoolmates and whatnot. I'm going to kill them. All right? Because I'm a gangster. I'm bad. I'm bad on my side of town.
Okay.
All right? But I ain't bad nowhere else.
Yeah. Would that be the same type of reasoning that for years black males used to process their hair?
Oh, sure. And we don't know what to do with our hair. All right? But the code says, hey, just cut it and try to get something in your head. I mean, stop spending a whole lot of time looking in the mirror. I mean, and I've given this illustration on this program. Get out of that mirror. That's one of the first things to do. I mean, just make yourself look so that you don't attract attention. That's the main thing. For the black male particularly. Stop doing things to attract attention because you don't have any reason to attract attention. I'm a black male. I have no reason to get anybody's attention on this planet. Why? I don't have that much going for me. I'm a prisoner of war.
Right. So when...
Well, what am I doing walking down the street trying to make myself, fixing my hair in such a way or getting some earrings or some tattoos or doing anything to get people's attention?
Yes, sir.
And then once I get the whole world's attention, what am I going to do with that attention that I got?
So
do I have a plan?
Okay.
No, I don't even have a plan for myself. So the black male, I'm going to get on the black male about this because I'm one of them. Stop trying to get the attention until you have a reason to get somebody's attention so that when somebody does pay you attention, they have a constructive reason for doing so because you are doing something that's out of sight constructive.
Okay.
Just walking down the street, taking up the sidewalk, making a whole lot of noise. That's us.
Okay, so
we're so starved to be men and don't have no idea of what it takes to be one.
Right. So as I was saying then, the process, when brothers and sisters decided to go natural with the natural cut, afros and so forth, was the attempt at processing the hair, straightening it out, what was that all about?
Doing anything.
Trying to look white?
See, the code says don't do anything to attract attention.
Right, I got that part.
Except do something constructive. Once you start doing something constructive, I mean, as an organism, I'm talking about just as an organism in the universe. That's what I mean by universal man, that type of thinking. Universal man. And for the females, universal woman. Stop trying to get people's attention and you don't have any constructive reason for doing so. Do something. See, it comes down to not how you look, it's what you do. That's what makes you attractive. The white supremacists, there's nothing about them that's attractive within itself. What makes a white person attractive? It's not their appearance. It has nothing to do with their appearance. It's what they do. Stop and think about it, folks. Stop and think. Let me be calm while I'm doing this because I'm kind of getting excitable myself.
Okay.
I have to not be emotional and be mathematical. What makes a white person attractive to the non-white people? Non-white people in caravans now. Which way did the white people go? All right? What makes these white people attractive? It's not their appearance. It just seems to be their appearance. No, it's what they do. And what is it that they do? They go to the moon and back. All right. Now we're getting somewhere. They make the microwave oven work. Oh, they produce the microwave oven that works. They lay out, they go where there are dirt roads, and they make pavement where there were dirt roads, so that now you can run your little scooters up and down the pavement in your fancy cars that they make. All right? That's what makes them attractive. People are attracted to people who accomplish things. That's a law of what? The universe. But thinking you can walk up and down the street doing something with your hair, or doing something with your nose, or doing something with your feet is going to be of any lasting value when you attract everybody's attention, everybody stop what they are doing, the person stops fixing the car or putting up a building to look at me, a Negro, walking down the street, and I say, hey, I'm trying to get your attention. Everybody stop what they're doing and look at me. I'm important. I'm important because of what? What am I accomplishing? What is my track record as far as constructive activity is concerned? That's what people are attracted to. Truth be told, stop and think about it, folks, all over the world within the sound of my voice. What are people attracted to other people for? It's for something that they are actually doing more than anything. Oh, yeah. You'll get to the place where you recognize them as being attractive on the kind of way they look. But underlying backing that up is what they do overall. People who are doing constructive things will always attract people who are just standing around looking for something to do because they don't know what to do. And that's black people.
Okay.
All over the world.
All over the world. TalkTainmentRadio.com is a 24/7, no-charge, worldwide broadcasting facility with hosts delivering on various topics such as news, lifestyle, sports, law, health, wellness, religion, and politics. And here's one that I'm going to share with you. Your Time to Travel. It's a very, very good program, and it gives you the latest information on various destinations in and out of the concept called the United States. Brother Ricky Tyus is one of the co-hosts of the program, and all you have to do is go to the TalkTainmentRadio.com homepage and look it up. Look under programs and look it up, and then check it out and see the latest information that you can get for traveling. Your Time to Travel, exclusive to TalkTainmentRadio.com. That is radio the way it should be heard. My name is Mr. Bobby, and I am the co-host of the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller. We have been discussing the topic today, the black woman's vagina in the system of white supremacy, racism. So when you call in, you can have a question for that or any other subject that you want to discuss. One of the another ways to contact or get in touch with the program is to see and hear it by going to the YouTube channel and typing in the word Talktainment, and then you can scroll down to where it says radio, and then type in radio, and then scroll down to Talktainment number 2, and you're there. And while you're there, hit the like and subscribe button. Okay, let's go to the phone lines. Caller, you are now on with Mr. Fuller. What is your question?
Good morning, Mr. Bobby and Mr. Fuller.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Fuller, can you please expound on your definition of man's shadow or shadow of a man on page 218 of the Word Guide?
218 of the Word Guide.
Yes, sir.
Let me look at it. What does it say here? 218, okay. I have the Word Guide here. Man's shadow of a man. And what does it say? It says, use these terms to apply to any black and or non-white male person who exists any place in the known universe at the same time that white supremacy exists. Yes, you can use that term. I'm a man's shadow. I'm the shadow words, once the white supremacists made me their prisoner of war, I became what you might say in a slang term, the white man's shadow. I'm black. I'm non-white. A shadow is dark, all right, and all black. And I'm just a shadow of them. Why? Because I am their illegitimate child. You know, they made a child out of me once they captured me. Once you capture anybody in a war, the person that is captured becomes a child. They're no longer a man or a woman. They're girls and boys because they become the shadow of the people who have put them into captivity. That's basically what that means. I have a long explanation. It's too long to read on this program. On page 218 of that, as you have just pointed out, the caller. And so you can just read that explanation. Those people who have the book, textbook for white supremacy, that you can get by going to producejustice.com. And this is in the additional volume, which is called A Compensatory Counter-Racist Codified Word Guide. And that's on page 218 of the Word Guide. Man's shadow, the shadow of a man. And that's what I am. I'm a shadow. I mean, I wear the clothes that the white supremacists say that, you know, that are appropriate for me, and what is not appropriate, and how I wear them, and all like that. I speak the language that they give to me. In other words, I'm just a shadow. I'm not a real man because I was taken away from me once I became captive, and I was born in captivity. So I'll never be a man inside of the system of white supremacy. White supremacy has to no longer exist for me to be a man on my own. All right, a universal man preferably, because I'm in the universe. But I can't be any of that. I can't even be a man, not to say anything about being a universal man. I'm a boy. I'm a subject. And I'll remain that right to the grave. And even in death, I will be subject to the white supremacists because they tell me where I can be buried or cremated or whatnot. Why? Because they are white supremacists. That's why. So I'm just their shadow. That's all. That's the best that I can be under their tutelage. Because they're not going to allow me to be anything else. In order to be something else, we have to actually get rid of the entire system of racism. There's nowhere to run away from it. And replace it with what? A system of justice. And that, of course, that will include a functioning universal man and a universal woman who would be the first people in recorded history to practice justice, because justice has never existed in recorded history.
Okay. Let's go here from the Gmails, and I hope that I am pronouncing this brother's name right. Nizaniel from the UK said that Mr. Fuller has stated why is the most important question for victims to ask. Why merely gives us the white supremacist motivation. Anyway, using the counter-racist compensatory logic, I would put forward that the question of how is of greater importance. Reason being how it better allows us to understand the mechanics of the system and so be better placed. What he said in response, because you did, Mr. Fuller, answer his question, and apparently you answered it sufficiently. He said, I live in the UK, and so just got a chance to listen to Mr. Fuller's response. Very helpful, Mr. Fuller, and thank you. And then he goes on to say that he is intelligently brilliant individual who has taught me a hell of a lot about every aspect of life in a very short period of time in comparison to my 30-plus years on this earth prior to learning from him. I do hope that he has many years to come in which he continues to pass down to other black victims of racism, white supremacy, his knowledge and wisdom and understanding. Thank you, Mr. Fuller. Regards, Nizanio. So he just wanted to thank you for breaking it down and helping him understand what you had mentioned about how, or rather why you had broken down why is the most important. He was very satisfied with your answer. Okay, so Nizanio, I did that for you.
I thank him for those compliments, but the compliments is, I'm just trying to be a vehicle, and I want people to help me, because I'm a prisoner of war. Well, all prisoners of war, according to logic, are equal. So it's just a matter of just finding out things and trying to move along to solve these problems, of which there are thousands of them that need solving.
Okay.
And so there's nothing unique about Neely Fuller. I just make mistakes like everybody else makes. And so, but I try to look down and, if I stumble over something, look down and examine what I stumble over. What causes me to stumble?
Mm-hmm.
What causes me to fall and break my nose?
Yes, sir.
All right? Look down, or look up if something came out of the sky and whatnot, and try to see the source of it.
Got it.
I mean, things have sources.
Yes, sir.
And then try to analyze things correctly. That's all it is.
Okay. Miss Anita wrote this, and this was concerning your movie list. And by the way, did you go ahead on and put that on your page? Because people have really been asking me about...
And I have been asking the people that work with me to get it up there expeditiously.
Okay.
I was told several times that it'll appear on my website any day now. All right.
Okay.
But I'm still working on it, and I'm trying to get back to the people to have them do it. But in the meantime, I've tried to read off some of them.
Yes.
That'll keep people busy. I think I've read off maybe about 40, right?
Yeah, there are 40 that you list.
Yes, I mean, and if they look at them and kind of look at them in some kind of sequence, I always say the time sequences of the movies themselves. That's the way I try to list them.
Okay.
They may not be exactly in that time sequence.
Right. Anyway, one of the Gmailers wrote and asked me, it says, also, please let Mr. Fuller know that I'm aware of the movie Pinky. I recorded it a few months ago from the Ted Turner Classics. I also will look into watching The Lost Boundaries. Thank you, Mr. Fuller, again. I guess you did mention the movie Pinky?
Yes, that's not on the list.
Oh, okay.
But I did mention the movie Pinky and the movie Lost Boundaries. It's about black people passing for white. All right. Which some people might find interesting.
Pinky.
Now, they're played by white characters, but, because they are black people looking like they're white. All right. But the movies are kind of well done, and it goes to show you the dilemma that they have or have had. And so they're interesting from that standpoint. Mm-hmm. All of the movies that I have listed are movies with all kinds of lessons, and not just the lessons that the movies are supposed to be about according to title, but just lessons about people in general, ways of thinking, and what causes people to think certain ways, and to do certain things based on the thinking, because everything comes from the way that you think.
Yes, sir.
All right? So it just studies in people, period. Yeah. White and non-white.
I think we have that on the screen, Pinky. It's in black and white? Yeah.
Yes, I think both of those movies are in black and white.
Yes. Yeah, they have that on the screen. If people who have YouTube can see that on the screen. I was looking for, did we have Imitation of Life on there? Because I don't see that on there. Wow.
Right, that's not on my list either.
Okay.
But these are movies that people can look at. Just because they're not on the list of what I recommend, I looked at a movie on TV last night that I hadn't seen in some time. It's not on my list. It's called Separate Tables. It's a very boring movie. A lot of females will like it because a lot of the movies I have on my list are movies that females will like, including some of the war movies, like D-Day, the 6th of June. You would think is all about the fighting. There's very little fighting going on. Battle scenes, really at the last of the movie.
Okay.
But it's basically a so-called romance or love story, male-female interaction.
Already.
And I put it on the list for that reason.
Okay. Let me do this. TalkTainMenRadio.com. We go where you go. Check us out on 94.1 WGRN. The podcasts are available, so all you have to do is download the TalkTainMenRadio.com app to your cell, to your tablet. That is radio the way it should be heard. Stay right there. Don't move. Stick and stay. Don't go away. We have phone calls and more Gmails and more talk when we come back here on TalkTainMenRadio.com.
For the best home fragrance and beauty products, shop Ash Kitchen online.
That's ASHKICKIN.
Made with 100% natural quality ingredients and handcrafted with your family in mind, Ash Kitchen products are better than those other guys. Ash Kitchen candles, incense, body butter, face moisturizer, and hair moisturizer are priced just right, and you can get yours at 10% off with coupon code TALK17. Support this 100% black-owned business and get your home and body smelling and feeling all right.
That's ASHKICKIN.
Shop Ash Kickin' online at www.ashkickin.com.
You trusted Judge Terry Jameson when you elected her in 2012. She came to the domestic and juvenile court with experience as a trial lawyer in criminal, domestic, and juvenile law, serving Columbus and Franklin County residents. Re-elect Judge Terry Jameson to the Court of Common Pleas, Domestic Relations and Juvenile Branch. Judge Terry Jameson, justice tempered with mercy, because your family matters.
I'm Judge Terry Jameson. I'm asking for your vote on November the 6th, 2018. I was voted in by the community because your family matters. Thank you.
If you or someone you know is abusing drugs and or alcohol and want to stop the abuse, contact APDS at 1409 East Livingston Avenue. Office hours are 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily and 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday. APDS is certified by the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services and primarily funded through the Adam H. Board. Fees are based on your income and Medicaid is always accepted. For more information, call 614-253-4448.
Sex Code War by Kahari Inaharo, the author of the Essence Magazine bestseller Race Code War, is releasing his second book, Sex Code War. Be on the lookout for Sex Code War.
This is Al Edmondson, owner of the Cutter Brother West Barbershop. I'm calling on all barbers and beauticians. It's time for us to unite as one. We can serve our communities better together. Join the Ohio Black Barber Beauty Network. For more information, visit www.obbn.org or call 614-427-3226 to get more information. Be the change that you want to see in your community. Join our network.
TalkTainmentRadio.com is proud to present the Compensatory Concept. It is an effective system for countering the effects of white supremacy. TalkTainmentRadio.com is able to carry the first hour. However, the cost for the second hour is exceeding our limited budget. That is why we ask for your kind assistance in keeping the second hour on the air. If you believe like we do, help us in this struggle for justice. Go to the gold donate button on the TalkTainmentRadio.com web page and hit the gold donate button. That's the gold donate button. And please donate. Help us to keep the second hour of the Compensatory Concept on the air. Thank you.
Live call-in talk show. Dial 1-877-932-9766 and join the conversation here on TalkTainmentRadio.com.
I think I'm entitled. You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Go ahead. Make my day.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
You got the power.
TalkTainmentRadio.com TalkTainmentRadio.com. We go where you go. Download the TalkTainmentRadio.com app to your cell or to your tablet. That's radio the way it should be heard. This is Mr. Bobby. I am the co-host of the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller. Our topic today is the black woman's vagina in the system of white supremacy racism. Today's date is Wednesday, October the 24th, 2018. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, you are now on with Mr. Fuller. What is your question?
I have a comment. When you talk about the black vagina in the system of white supremacy, the woman called and she said that she don't see it like that. And I think that Dr. Neely Fuller is, on point with that. How white supremacists try to extol or, promote, the white vagina as the most holiest of grails. But in true reality, through entertainment, y'all talk about movies and so forth, through entertainment, they are always trying to mount the black woman. They always try to, say, no, they don't try to. They are the most irresistible males, irresistible, male in the role, in entertainment. And I think, and I want to correlate that with the fact that he says that, the white woman's vagina is extolled as the holy of grails and so forth. But in reality, the white supremacists know that the black vagina is the holiest of grails.
Okay, Mr. Fuller, your comment?
Yes, that's a viewpoint. But the white supremacists also want to continue to be white supremacists. So they do whatever it takes as far as the images that they put out that will give them the most power. So they say things that are not true all the time. They have to, all right? But they can make things look like something that they are not. And that's what they do. And that is the essence of the system of white supremacy, deception. They make things valuable that are not as valuable within themselves as they appear to be. But they'll say that, that a rock called a diamond is valuable. Why? Because I've said so. And you say, well, because you said so, that's not a criteria for anything. And then they will pull out their gun and say, what did I just tell you?
Mm-hmm.
See, that's how they do everything. So if I tell you that the black female vagina is worthless, all right, I'll back it up with force or by making it worthless, treating it like it's worthless, all right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. White males, go in and out of black vaginas, on a wholesale basis all over the world. As long as there's been white supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a part of their getting it established or whatnot.
Yes.
But they hold up the white female vagina. Well, now, this is, hey, you're talking about rubies. This is the gold standard.
Yes.
Okay? The white female vagina, that is the gold standard.
Yes.
The black female, that's just cosmetics.
Yes.
That's over there on the cosmetic counter. You want the real diamonds? Go over here where the white female is.
Mm-hmm.
When you start talking about vaginas. Now that's the real vagina. And you say, well, why? That's not logical. Not necessarily. Why do you say that? I said it because I could.
Yes.
All right? Hear me.
Yes.
Dummy. I said it.
Yes.
I said it. And you say, well, who are you? I'm your boss. That's who I am. So I said it. Your boss said it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, but it don't make sense. It makes sense because I said it, boy. All right? Now, I'll get this whip. And I'll get this shotgun. And I'll see how much sense it makes.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go for it. And we understand that. Because that's real power.
and especially for those who are familiar with the term CGI, especially right now for those who may be technically proficient in that area. CGI, computer generated images. This is what they do and are doing it right now. Let me take a phone call. Caller? Go ahead. You're on with Mr. Fuller.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
My name is James. I'm calling from North Carolina.
Yes, James.
And I have a question for Mr. Fuller.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Fuller, the idea and purpose of people striving to become a universal man and universal woman is extremely admirable. However, in his book, The Destruction of Black Civilization, Great Issues of a Race, from 4500 BC to 2000 AD, Dr. Chancellor Williams provides concrete evidence that points to the fact that black people of modern times are destroyed as a result of their ancestors' seemingly innate desire to unite in universal brotherhood with foreigners, such as Europeans, Arabs, and Asiatic people. Those are people who were then and now are classified as white or not black. If solid historic evidence is used to predict the outcome of making another attempt at that, why should we expect a more constructive outcome for black people when racists demonstrate that they have no desire for their future offspring to become non-white? And in order to become universal man and woman, people are going to have to be non-white.
Mr. Fuller?
Universal man and universal woman will all be non-white? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying, sir, because if we're all going to get together in universal brotherhood as universal man and universal woman, white would have to disappear.
Well, not necessarily, according to logic. See, because white people do exist, okay? Now, I put it in my textbook. This is not to discount anything that Dr. Chancellor Williams said, but I have it in my textbook that white people are here, just like you have all type of species of creatures, insects, animals, birds, and whatnot. They're here. They're here by a creator. A creator put them here. Whatever created us, I guess, directly or indirectly created them. Now, some people say that they are something weird that showed up. White people are something that's kind of out of sync with the rest of the universe, and so a lot of people debate that and all like that, and that they actually should not be here, okay? Now, people have said that. I say I don't know about that. But if that is the case, then they will disappear anyway, all right? If they're not supposed to be here, then they will disappear anyway.
But my whole point is, sir, they've got a system in place to try to preserve themselves forever if they possibly can. It might be possible that they know exactly everything they need to know about their genetic recessive state, and that's the reason why they may have come up with the system of white supremacy to try to preserve their genetic survival by any means necessary. But if we're all going to be the best type of people we can possibly be and everybody unites, there can't be any white people. They're going to have to disappear. But if they got their mind made up that they're going to be here as white people, wouldn't it seem logical to say that, trying to unite with them is just not going to work?
Well, see, I didn't say anything about uniting with white people. I'm saying being universal man and universal woman. That's a qualification, which means you do constructive things all the time in all 9 areas of activity. Now, if the white people who believe in white supremacy don't go along with that, everything that I've written is about getting rid of white supremacy. So they could exist, but they couldn't tamper with anything that universal man and universal woman is doing. Otherwise, they would still be white supremacy. See, I'm saying replace white supremacy with universal man and universal woman. People who are are entirely constructed in everything that they do in all 9 areas of activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. Of course, war itself will be abolished under universal man and universal woman. No conflict of any kind. I mean, if you're going to have conflict, you might as well just keep what you got. You don't have to be anything special to have conflict. The white supremacy is all about conflict, but we would have a system of justice.
Do you think it would take conflict to get to the point that we're trying to work toward? Because think about what power the white supremacists have. I mean, they've got, according to what they say, enough atomic and nuclear bombs to blow the world up maybe 100 times over. How are we going to, I mean, even if they were to disappear or fall out of power, we're going to have the task of trying to undo all that. I mean, you know, there'd still be mines in the ocean, mines underneath the ground, even if everything was like it would be ideally. Someone, universal man or woman, can be walking somewhere and their leg could be blown off.
Yes, which means that's what universal man and universal woman would be doing. That would be the task, cleaning up the mess. That's what makes you a universal man and a universal woman. I mean, this is not something that just doesn't come through the process of evolution. The suggestion is you have to start from where you are. You can't start from where you aren't. That's the concept. I mean, it might be difficult for some people to wrap their mind around that, but I mean, it's a natural concept. You become what you are not. We are nowhere near the quality of people that people should be. Now, when I say we, I mean everybody on the planet. We are nowhere near the quality of people that we should be. But we should be evolving toward that. We're not even making that attempt because we're too busy copying the ways of the white supremacists. That's just it. And they want everybody to copy the way that they go about doing things, knowing that we would be an inferior brand of what they are doing. But we don't want to do what they are doing, or shouldn't. Yeah. Otherwise, we might as well keep what we got.
Okay. Let me move on to this right here. TalkTainmentRadio.com. We go where you go. Download the TalkTainmentRadio.com app to your cell or to your tablet. That's radio the way it should be heard. I am Mr. Bobby, the co-host on the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Fuller. And this is the time where we dedicate or allow Mr. Fuller to talk about his book. Mr. Fuller, go ahead, please.
You can get the book by going to producejustice.com. That's producejustice.com. Because after the initial thing, on the way to being universal man and universal woman, you have to produce a thing called justice, which means balance between people. Balance between people means what? Guaranteeing that no person is mistreated and guaranteeing that the person that needs help the most gets the most constructive help without fail, all the time, 24/7, throughout the entire planet called Earth. And the book is directed toward what an individual person can do in answer to many of the questions that have come in today. What the individual person can do on a daily basis to bring that about. Because it's got to be done by individuals. It's been proven that organizations can go so far, but the white supremacists can control organizations. Once you get a name for your organization, and most organizations have a name, then the white supremacists know how to control language. And through language, they can control your organization because it has a title, it has a name. But a system, the United Independent Code System Concept, which is the title of the book, is a compensatory code designed for the individual person. So when the white supremacists start saying, I'm looking for the leader of this organization, the leader of the organization is every individual person who takes just one part of a counter-racist code and puts it to use. That's the qualification. You just take one part. So the white supremacists, if they start looking for who are these people, who are these codified people, he's talking about everybody who does anything of constructive value, and that person is a person of color. So there's no way for them to stop that. That's what the white supremacist code is about. That's why it is so invincible. That's why it's so strong, because it's not an organization in the way that we think of organizations. The white supremacists are a system, and that system is based on a code, and the code means each and every individual person is an organization, and that's why they're successful. The black people, the non-white people of this planet, do not have anything similar to that. But we can build one overnight. Just make that decision. What we need is a code. And what is a code? A code is all about what you do and what you don't do. What you say and what you don't say. That's all a code is when it comes to a political code or religious code. It's what you do and say and what you don't do and you don't say. And we need one that's designed to counter racism by what we do and what we don't do, and what we say and what we don't say, each and every minute of each and every day. And each individual will be doing and saying those things will have the most constructive result all the time. Then that's when we know we got a code that's working. Not just a concept of a code, which is what we have now, which is what I'm trying to present in the textbook for victims of white supremacy. It's just a concept until it actually becomes a reality. And you can get the guide for doing this by going to producejustice.com. It's just a beginning, folks. It's not an end. You don't have the end until all problems are solved.
Okay, with that being said, let's go to the phone lines. Caller, you're on with Mr. Fuller. Go ahead, please.
Sure. Hello, Mr. Fuller, Mr. Bobby. I would like to ask, what could we do as black men to make sure that the black woman continues to be our holy grail and not the white woman and not the male white angel?
To have a code. That's what it's all about. Stop having sexual intercourse with white females and tell them the reason. That, you all can go fishing together and, and read books together. It's not against that. It ain't personal. It's business. And just say, hey, I'm attracted to you. You're very attractive to me. That goes with the territory. I've always been taught, even by my black teachers, to love Barbie and Cinderella and Little Red Riding Hood. And so, so I'm attracted to you. I find you very attractive. All right? But there will be no sexual intercourse. None of that hanky-panky, as we call it, or like that, because this is a business. And if I have sexual intercourse with you, that's the black male talking to the white female now. Then what that means is we have a prisoner, master of a prison, who has conquered the prisoner. And so you have the prison master having sexual intercourse with the prisoner. And that's not an equal relationship. Cecilia, or whatever her name is, the white lady, we're not equal. We're not in an equal situation. It doesn't have anything to do with how you feel about me and how I feel about you. We got that, I want to be with you right now. I'm hot to trot. All right, you want to be with me, but I just can't do it. It's against the code. It'd be a violation. We have to be equals first, because you have the master position, Cecilia, because you're white in a system of white supremacy, and I'm a prisoner of war of the system of white supremacy, and that's not an equal relationship. That's child abuse. Because I'm in the position of a child. I'm not a man. You're a full-grown woman because you're white. And I'm not a man, regardless of how old I get, because I'm a prisoner of war. Now, you got to understand that. That's the deal. So, let's make this business deal. We'll go into business together or whatever, but no sexual intercourse, because now you're capturing my mind, what's left of it. All right? And once we get into that, we're just making the situation worse. That's the way that goes, folks. I'm trying to put out ideas, that we haven't thought about in a certain context. Because this is the way it is, I think. And if it's not this way, I want somebody to start calling in and telling me that it's not this way.
Okay. Let me get this last caller in. Mr. Fuller. Go ahead, caller. You're the last one, so make it kind of fast. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Non-white people eliminate white supremacy on the planet by collectively rejecting the monetary system white leadership provides, and is the acceptance of it the main reason it keeps non-whites in their prison system?
It could be. It could be if you can figure out how that monetary system works, because I really don't know. I worked in places where they produce money, all right? And so money is a very tricky thing in the system of white supremacy. And how they handle it, and how they value money, and, what is money in Nigeria, and what is money in Uganda, and what is money in Switzerland. People talk about Switzerland as if that's some type of holy grail place. That's a mysterious place when you start talking about money. This place among white people called Switzerland, all right? That people say, I have money in Swiss banks.
I've heard that.
All right? Swiss banks. What's so mysterious about a Swiss bank?
Yes.
Well, what about, a bank in the Congo? Does that mean anything? See, it's mysterious.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can figure out that monetary system, yes, if you can figure it out. But that's going to take some doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to take a whole lot of doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are the masters of money. They decide what money is and what money isn't on a minute-by-minute basis.
Yes, sir.
So if we can figure that out, in answer to your question, maybe that would help.
That is so true, Mr. Fuller. In fact, I'm working on a show now with, I won't say that she's an expert, but she's deep into that, and we had a little conversation about that on my sports show. The name is a French name, but it has something to do with, they speak in a maritime language, and how it relates to us, the straw man and the crest de vue, or whatever they call that. It's very interesting, but I haven't developed it enough that we could present that in there, but it's very interesting from the standpoint that you just mentioned about money being a very tricky thing, asking what it is and how it really works. And you made reference to the Swiss banks. That is a good question. Why is that so that the Swiss banks seem to be the quote-unquote
Holy Grail?
Yeah. Yeah. Why is that? That's a very good question. Yeah, if somebody knows that, Gmail me. Yeah, why
is everything gyrating around Swiss banks?
Yeah.
why is it I can't go and pull some leaves off of a tree and call it money?
Yeah.
All right, because it's green. Okay. Stick it in my pocket and say, hey, I'm rich. Leaves on trees is now money.
Yeah.
But good luck with that if I do that, because nobody's going to recognize it.
Take some leaves into a bank.
Right. You see what I mean? So, what is this thing called money, and who controls it?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a very good point. And we've come to the end of today's programming on the 24th of October, 2018. TalkTainmentRadio.com, the world's greatest radio the way it should be heard. Thank you for the pleasure of your time. Thanks for listening. Thank you, Mr. Fuller. Thank you, callers.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to The Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller, heard exclusively on TalkTainmentRadio.com.